Hello. Hi, it's Karen from 50's the New 50 blog, and I'm coming live today to do makeup placement tips for mature women. Where we place our makeup on our face is a little bit different than maybe a 20 or a 30-year-old or even maybe some 40-year-olds. So these are just some tips I've learned since I've become a makeup artist with Saint in the last 2 years, so I thought I would hop on and share them with you as I do my makeup for the day. Welcome, thank you so much. Okay, if you have any questions as we're going along, please just drop it in the comments and ask me, and I will put my readers on and try to answer those questions. So thank you so much. All right, so we're talking about placement tips for mature skin, where to put our makeup, where to put our contour, where to place our blush, where to place our, well, concealer or under eye highlighter. Okay, so let's get started. Let's first start with my 3D foundation palette, and we're gonna start first with contouring. All right, so if you wanna stick around, if you have time, it's gonna be a little bit more in-depth tutorial talking about placement. So, contour shade. This contouring actually is it's not bronzer and it's not your makeup. It's actually an ash tone shade that's gonna add a shadow to our face to define our bone structure and really just kind of emphasize our cheekbones, emphasize our jawline, and if we have a taller forehead or a wider face, it will help lower your forehead, kind of give that illusion. So, placement of contour. So, make sure that you have the right tools. This is a great brush for contouring. This is the detail brush. It almost looks like a little broom, and I'm just kind of tapping in on here, and what we're going to do is first place our contour up on our forehead. Now, I like to do this in kind of almost a half moon fashion, and depending on how tall or how many fingers your forehead is, I have about a 4-finger forehead, and I don't wear my hair pushed back. I wear my hair pushed back with no bangs, so my forehead's pretty tall forehead. So by adding contour up here along the top of my forehead and bringing it down about 2 fingers from my brow, that actually cuts my forehead about in half, right? So adding contour up on your forehead really is just adding a shadow and helping draw the eye down from this taller forehead to the center of my face. Hi, Jenny. Excellent. What do I do to contour my neck? Okay, we're going to do that next. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is contour up on our forehead. If you have a wider face, you can bring your contour down along the temples. Now, adding some contour a little bit down along the temple will actually kind of give the illusion that your face is now more narrow, right? That you're up here, it's a little bit more narrow, leaving this center area open or brighter. So the next place we're going to add contour is along our cheekbones. And the little rule of thumb that really helped me a lot, there's two different references for placement of contour along our cheekbones for mature women. The first place is to kind of feel for the outside of your cheekbone. First, kind of just take some time and feel where your cheekbone is. And if you start on the outside of your cheekbone and you end the contour on the outside of the colored part of your eye, or another great reference, we're talking about the 2-finger rule here, is about 2 fingers from your nose. That just about lines up on the outside of my eye, doesn't it? So 2 fingers and then 2 fingers from my nose is where I'm going to stop the placement of my contour. So let's do that really quick. Using that same brush, I'm just kind of pouncing and loading that brush up, and I'm feeling out here. This is where my cheekbone is, and I'm just kind of pressing and kind of cupping that contour shade right up underneath my cheekbone. And again, kind of keeping that reference where I'm about 2 fingers from the outside of my eye. I'm going to stop about here, okay? What we want to do is we want to be able to see a bit of that contour when we're looking straight forward, but we don't want to bring the contour down into this part of our face. This is kind of our marionettes, or our laugh line area here. We don't want to draw or drag your contour down. As more mature women, we want to lift everything. Everything is about lifting up and accentuating our natural bone structure. And so by cupping the contour underneath your cheekbone and ending about here, you're kind of doing it almost like in a little swoosh. Okay, let's do the other side really quick. Let's do this side by placing 2 fingers right here, just to kind of get, I know it's a little tricky because I'm crossing over my hand, but I could do this with I'm right-handed, so it's a little bit easier for me to just cross over. But I can just kind of see from the outside of my eye here, and I'm pressing, I can feel my cheekbone, and I'm just kind of pressing, cupping it right up underneath that cheekbone. I'm not going straight down into my mouth, and I'm not drawing anything down. I'm actually emphasizing and adding a lift. So give me some hearts if that makes sense. Is that helpful? Does that make sense as far as where you're going to place your contour up on your forehead, either down on your temples and then down underneath your cheekbones? Okay, contouring your nose. I'm going to admit I am not good at contouring my nose. It takes a little bit of practice, but the great thing is that this is cream makeup. So even if you feel like you mess up, just wipe it off. Oh, good. I'm so glad that made sense. Wipe it off and do it again. It's not a big deal, okay? It's just makeup. It's just makeup. Nothing is permanent about what we're doing today. All right, so contouring our nose. A couple different ways. Now, contouring on your nose, basically what you're doing is you're adding a shadow right along this part of your nose, not down the middle, because that's where we want to kind of add some brightness and pull forward. If you have a wider nose and you want to narrow that nose, we want to add a shadow here so that this part of our nose looks more narrow. Same sense is if your nose is longer and you want to shorten your nose, take a little bit of that contour and you can put a little bit right up underneath your nose to add a shadow underneath. So adding the contour along the side of your nose, just take that brush. Now I'm not using full on, I'm actually kind of using this beveled part, kind of like right here along this edge, and I'm running that, I'm just tapping that right along that part of my nose. Okay, let's do the other side. A little bit trickier when you're dominant, your non-dominant side. And that's just going to be the way it is. It just takes practice when you're doing something. If you're right-handed and you're trying to work on your left-hand side of your face, don't you agree? It's a little bit trickier. It's hard to get things to match. I mean, I always have the hardest time getting my eyebrows to match when I shade them in, making your eyeshadow match. But you know what? Our faces are not exact replicas of each other. They're different, and so it's okay if we're not exactly matching. Okay, it's fine. So leaving the center of my nose. Here we're going to add some brightness to that later. All right. Another way you can contour your nose is you can actually take your pinkies and dip them in your contour shade. Okay, dip them in. Put some contour on your nose, and then you can actually run your pinkies down. Sometimes that helps because you can actually feel your bone and you know exactly kind of where you're setting that contour. All right, so I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm not perfect at this. I'm 55. I just play with my makeup. I just use it and I practice, and the more we get to know our faces and the more we get to know the product that we're using, the easier things are going to get. All right, so the next place we're going to contour is along our jawline and underneath our chin or on our neck. Okay, so why do we want to do this? Well, it's nice to contour and define our jaw from our neck. If we have like under, a lot of us have this. So by adding and kind of emphasizing the natural shadow that's underneath our chin, that helps. So we're going to take that same brush it right into our contour again. And we want to place the contour. I like to have it kind of, there's already this little, usually on most of us, a little divot here, okay? So if you take and run that contour right up along your jawline, like that. So I'm not going along the side of my face, okay? And I'm not going all the way under. I'm kind of splitting the difference, and then you're gonna pull, when we blend, we'll pull that down, but that's gonna add a shadow and just kind of help give my jawline some definition. So right here, and I'm running it along here, okay? So let me know if you have any questions. As I'm going along here, I will try to answer them. And again, if you get some up here where you don't want it, it's okay. It'll blend in and become part of our foundation, okay? Another great place to contour is not directly under our chin, because our chin already casts a shadow, but about 2 finger widths back, right here. Add a little contour so that when you look forward, you've got a shadow here, as my voice kind of wobbles a bit. And then we will brush all that down. And I apologize if, speaking of shadows, if my lighting or my shadows are weird. It's a beautiful day here in Idaho. And I live in a really old house built in the 1920s with some lead glass windows. And you know, when the seasons change, the lighting changes. So I'm trying to learn where in this room I don't have the shadows hitting me and the odd. Okay, does that help, Jenny? You gave me an aha. All right, what do you think? So remember this 2 fingers. We're going to be talking about this 2 fingers a lot today. And so just about 2 fingers underneath your chin, just right here. Another thing that you can do is actually pull along these tendons to make, to add, you can kind of put a little bit of contour there. Now we will blend that all in, but that's just emphasizing the natural shadows on our face. So again, I'm doing this inside. I got to take a peek in my mirror, make sure I'm getting it on. Okay. All right. So that's contour placement. And if you notice, you've probably heard myself or another artist mention this, but you're really contouring in the letter E or the number 3. So it's an E on this side or the number 3, depending on where you're looking. Okay. Or which way we're turned. Forehead, cheekbones, underneath the jawline, and you can do your nose as well, okay? All right, so let's go ahead now and talk about, concealing and color correcting. And a lot of us are used to adding a concealer that is a lighter shade directly underneath our eyes, like going straight underneath our eyes with a really bright light shade, thinking that really light shade is going to cover darkness or melasma or purple discoloration, when really, if you have melasma or dark under eye, we actually want to color correct or conceal first with a shade that is going to counteract whatever color is there, or a shade that's as dark as or close to. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but if you take this shade here is my color corrector shade. It's called Mango. And first I'm going to use it on my eyelids. Okay, so I have a lot of hyperpigmentation, and a lot of us in our 50s and older, our skin tends to get darker. We tend to get pigmentation, a lot of age spots, a lot of sunspots. Speaking of age spots, that's one there. Sunspots, if you want to call them that. Broken capillaries. So underneath and on our eyes, I'm taking a little bit of this shade, and it looks orange. It is. It has an orange undertone, but I'm going to use that to neutralize and to kind of color correct my eye area. A lot of us have this pigmentation or brown, kind of brown eyes, or we might have blue purple under eyes. So adding a little bit of color corrector or a concealer shade, that really helps. You can go ahead then and look at your face, and if you need extra coverage somewhere, sunspots, age spots, for me, a lot of us, we may end up getting these broken capillaries, kind of this purple, my chin looks almost purple here. So I can take a bit of this shade, very little, and just kind of feather that out along there to help neutralize. Okay, so we may all not be using the same exact color corrector or concealer shade, and not everybody needs that. Sometimes your regular foundation or highlight shade, your main one, will have enough color correcting properties in it that it will help cover redness, rosacea even, and some of this discoloration. But if you want to have a shade that gives you a little extra coverage, this highlight shade here is really great. And I usually recommend that when I color match the majority of my clients that are my age or look like me, okay? A lot of us, we tend to start to have the same skin issues, okay? So Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just really quickly, I'm going to place my main foundation or highlight shade on my face. I'm just going to take this brush here, tapping in, and then pouncing on some foundation color. Highlight is what we call it. And just kind of around my face where I don't have the contour. Because with this makeup anyway, this cream makeup, it's called 3D foundation, you don't need to layer this makeup on top of itself. So you're really using very little. So where you can use just one layer of it, that's ideal. Okay, so I'm just kind of lightly tapping a little bit of my main color on my face. And then we will blend that in when we're all done, because all of this is going to create my 3D foundation. So I hope this is making sense. So this is a big one. Where do we place our brightener shade? Some of you may be calling it your concealer, but once you color correct and add some color underneath our eyes to neutralize, okay, this area, we now want to add some brightness to this part of our face, okay? So this part of our face, this triangle of light. If you see right here, I've already kind of have some light here. Bridge of my nose is a little bit lighter. And the best place for us as we get older to add some brightness is usually on the inside of our eye. So I'm going to take a shade here. This is a highlight shade. It's about 2 or 3 shades lighter than my main shade. I'm going to tap in and I'm going to put just a little bit of that right on the inside of my eye on each side. Right away that adds just some brightness, kind of opens up my eye, makes it look much larger. Then I'm going to add some up here, kind of right in this little triangle here up here where your number 11s are, okay? And right here, you can see I have no Botox, and a little bit down the bridge of your nose. And then instead of placing the brightener in a great big huge V right underneath my eye, I'm actually going to bring it out here. Here's my contour. I'm going to bring it just a little bit out here. Okay, so I'm still kind of creating this V, but I'm not placing it directly underneath my eye. Kind of skipping that area a bit and bringing it out here. Okay. You can put some above your lip here if you want to, kind of pull forward. Wherever you add brightness, you're actually pulling forward that part of your face. So I'm going to take the smaller end of this brush really quick and just lightly start kind of feathering that brighter shade. I'm blending it just a little bit before I switch over to my bigger brush to blend. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take back to this brush here. I don't think I mentioned what this brush is. These are my 2 favorite brushes that I recommend. You know, tools make a difference, and brushes that are made to work with this cream foundation really do make a difference. You may have brushes at home already that look a lot like this. This one's such a unique brush. This is the detail brush, and this is the blush and bronzer brush. And I'm gonna use this end here to start blending the makeup together. And I'm going to kind of start with those lighter shades. And I'm not swiping or rubbing. I'm actually just doing a very soft pouncing. And now that the makeup's been sitting on my skin, it's warmed up quite a bit. Plus I have a sweater on and the sun is coming in and I'm getting hot. Up here where the contour and that main shade meet, we can push the contour up into our hairline, and then where the contour shade and the other shade meet, I'm just going to pounce over those two to soften so it doesn't look as harsh. It's blending those two together. So you can still see that shadow, right? But it's not a really harsh line. Same thing here. I'm going to pounce over my contour just a bit, but I don't want to totally blend it out. Same thing here on your neck and underneath. We want to kind of meld this all together. You're all being so quiet. Hello. If you have questions for me, and if you're a little shy and you don't want to type the question in while I'm doing the tutorial, feel free to message me that question later, okay? You can private message me. They call that a DM, direct message me with that little airplane. And I can answer that for you. Same thing goes if you are brand new and you have never been color matched and haven't seen this makeup in action, then message me if you'd like to get a color match. That's all done online and privately, just with me. That'll help you determine what shades work best for you. Okay. So another thing that you can do is grab a beauty blender, and if you need to just kind of feel like if you got too heavy-handed somewhere, or if you feel like your makeup is too heavy in some places, just lightly press your beauty blender over some of those areas just to give that a little extra blending. Okay? So that's my 3D foundation. It consists of your contour, a color corrector or concealer shade if you need one, your main shade, and then a brightening shade. So these 4 shades all together in one layer where possible create my 3D foundation. And it's really a great, really neat system, really easy to use. Okay, now let's talk about blush placement, okay? So same thing, we're gonna talk about the 2-finger rule. 2 fingers from our nose, and right here is where we wanna place our blush. So what I'm gonna do, this blush here is called Royal. This is a gorgeous, warm, gorgeous color. It's a glossy, so I'm gonna put a little bit on my finger. And then I'm gonna put 2 fingers up against my nose. Here's my contour. It ends about 2 fingers. I'm gonna dot my blush in the same fashion right above my contour. Hi, Lori. Let me get a little bit more. This color, see how dark that color looked in the tin, but when you actually apply it, there we go. I want you to be able to see it. So about 2 fingers from your, you can also do this by tapping the brush directly into your blush. So put 2 fingers up against your nose, your contour's right here. So tap and blend up. Okay, and if you, I know it looks weird, but if you actually leave your fingers up against your nose, it kind of prevents you from pulling your blush too close. And what this all is doing, if you can notice, what am I doing? I'm going up, aren't I? I'm lifting and applying my makeup in an upward fashion. And this is all just adding and emphasizing our bone structure and lifting our face, okay? So that is a really great way to place your blush. It's a really great tool to use your the 2-finger rule to help you apply your blush. I'm gonna put a little bit of this glossy Royal on my lips. I love this color and I love that it's a glossy. It's almost like a lip gloss. It's a little sheer, like a little stain. Almost like a wine-colored stain. Feels just like your favorite lip gloss. Really, really pretty color. And that's called Royal. And again, I use that on my cheeks as well. Okay, so now let's talk about where to place your illuminator. Illuminator is what we call like a shimmer highlight, like a shimmer. Okay, and this is called Rose Gold. It's also a cream. Let's see if I can pick it up and show you. Can you see the shimmer on that? And when I say Rose Gold, it really is a pretty rose gold color. I'm going to put it on my lips to show you how I can turn this glossy, stained lip, Royal, into something that has almost like a little frosted look to it. You see the frosty look by adding Rose Gold over the top, right in the center. Okay. So Illuminator can go on your lips. It can also go right above your blush. So at the highest point of our cheek, to again add even more definition, more of a lift, more of a glow. Okay, so just take your finger and you can just tap that right up, 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 up and out. You can also go down the bridge of your nose. You can add just a little bit even on the end of your nose to add a little shimmer. I also love to add some highlight or shimmer right up at the highest part of your brow bone. We haven't put any eye makeup on yet, but that's okay. We can still add some shimmer right up here and just kind of pull that down. So that is Illuminator. And it is, if you get too much, like at the end of my nose, I'll just grab my perfector sponge and I can just tap a little bit just to make sure that it's not too much. But isn't that pretty? So lots of glow, lots of illumination, lots of defining of our bone structure. Definitely not a flat face. Definitely working with the bone structure that I have by contouring and highlighting and adding shimmer and color to your face. So I hope that that was helpful as far as placement and where we place our contour, where we place our cheek color, where to place your illuminator, all right here. All right, so now if you haven't been color matched and you want to, there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can message me, okay, directly and say, hey Karen, I'd love to get a color match, and then I'll send you a link to my online color match form. If you don't want to message me, you can actually just go to the link in my profile, click on that, and one of the options is a free color match. That's the easiest way to do that. I usually color match my clients the same day or the next day. Oh, you are welcome. You're welcome, Jen. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, looks like I have a quick question, and then I'm going to put some eyeshadow on really quick and talk about that. Thank you, Rachel. I'm so glad. Oh, well, thank you. It's very... when you're done, don't forget to always set your makeup with your setting spray, okay? But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to take a question really quick. Oh, it's just a nice hello. Hi. Hi, Joan. Is that Jonah? Okay, all right. Let's do some eyeshadow really quick. Eyeshadow. I do not really have really hooded eyes, but if you have hooded eyes, here's a quick tip on where to place your eyeshadow to help, okay? So I'm going to use, here's just a nice neutral shade. It's called, I think, Claire. It's just kind of a pretty soft rose matte. I'm going to put that on my lid. And this is, I'm just windshield wiping that across and just slightly taking whatever's left on the brush and just kind of pulling that up a bit, okay? Let's do the other side. And windshield wipe back and forth, and then kind of circular little motions to pull that shade up just a bit. Let me see if I have it even. Looks like I need a little bit more on this side. Or I could blend the other side out, but I think I'll just add a bit more color. All right. What else is so awesome is if you're still with me, if you're hanging in there with me, I know a lot of you have to take off or get back, it's after lunch, is that even your eyeshadows and your bronzer and everything can fit right into your compact, which is just so convenient. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a little bit of defining or definition color. So here's a really pretty color. This is called, I think it's either cranberry or, let me take a peek. It's a really dark burgundy color, Revival. It's really, really pretty. I thought it looked really pretty with this lip color. So if we want to add some definition to our crease and our brow bone, a tip to do that is to place the color kind of like right in the outside in the crease, leaving your eye open, work it into the crease. Okay, can you see the color? I'm leaving my eye open. And then if you have hooded eyes, by leaving your eye open, you know, see when I really just relax my eye, I lose quite a bit of my hood. If I do my eyebrows up, obviously it shows a bit more. But relax your eye and you can bring a bit of that shade up onto the brow bone itself so that when your eye is relaxed and open, you actually see the color on your lids. Okay, hope that makes sense. That's a good tip for placement for hooded eyes. Place the color here, setting it down. It's in the crease, leaving my eye open, working it into the crease. You can pull that into a V too. I forgot to do that. And then pull the color up. I'm not reloading. There's already so much pigment on this brush. I'm pulling it up onto the brow bone so that when my eye is open, you actually can see and relax. You can actually see that color, okay? You can pull some underneath, smudge a little bit underneath your lower lashes. And then if you need to flip the brush over, this is the eyeshadow everything brush. This fluffy end that I use to do the wash is also really great for blending. And that's the key, is you cannot overblend. I mean, you could, but I think it's really important with eyeshadows is to take the time. I didn't reload this brush. I'm just using the brush now to soften and to kind of blend that eyeshadow together. All right, super simple. I just wanted to do a 2 eyeshadow look really quick, just to kind of give you an idea. If you have questions, you guys, make sure you wonderful gals, please message me. And if you want to get color matched today, today's a great day, tomorrow's a great day, you can send me a no makeup selfie, but make sure you fill out my color match form. Just ask me for that link or go to the link in my profile to get it. And I hope this was helpful. I will save this live and post it in my IGTV. So if you came on late and missed part of it, you can watch it later. We talked about makeup placement for mature skin, where to put our blush, where to put our contour. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And I hope to see you next time I go live. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, have a great day, everybody.